Hey guys, welcome back. This is California Cricket Cast. I'm your host Rohan. I'm joined today by Gotham. We are about to talk about the second test between England and New Zealand.
Yep.
Lots of stuff has happened the last 24 hours.
And we're not
lots of
going to
stuff-
bite the bullet about the Ollie Robinson case.
I mean,
We're not.
That may be
We'll
the
have a
dumbest-
separate video on that. How about that?
we may need to have a separate video on that, but oh my god, that may be the dumbest thing that I've heard in the last. Like, how the CBS handled that is just very stupid. And I think that's a general consensus. On the other hand, we do have some good news. Trent Boult may be back in time for this for the test. They weren't certain with quarantine and fitness if he would be able to, but it's good news for the Kiwis to get their strike bowler back. It's good to see Boult back.
Yeah.
Bess
is back too.
Dom Bess. Praise Dom Bess. Greatest off-spinner to never actually do anything. I cannot believe they picked Dom Bess off that magic, like what, 8 or something in Sri Lanka?
He's averaging 40, bro. He's averaging 40 in
he's averaging 40, and you might think that's good. That means he's a good batsman. No, he's averaging 40 with the ball.
Yeah, in county championships, no less. His confidence was shot after the India tour, just bowling full tosses.
I don't understand the logic of any captain thinking, hey, why don't we make this like young player who has never bowled in India or in Indian conditions or even in subcontinental conditions before this year bowl in subcontinental conditions against India on turning wickets, where he's going to be compared to one of the greatest off-spinners of all time.
Yeah, especially of this generation, right? With Ashwin, and there was no contest, and he struggled.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's back as well. Match itself, really exciting, right, guys? Series is still alive. 2-match test series, first match.
Thanks, Joe Root, for blocking out day 5 and not going for the win.
Yeah, he definitely was praised by his fellow Englishmen for that in the media box.
Why are you being more aggressive? Have you seen the English test team?
Yeah, have you seen how Crawley and Lawrence got out?
If you're India and you're 270 down, you got 2 sessions, yeah, you're going for it. If you're Australia, you might go for it. If you're New Zealand, you might go for it.
Yeah. If you're in England with Stokes.
Yeah, if you're in England, you have 2 players that you can reliably count on to bat at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, going into the match, right? Obviously, we talked about some of the squad updates and so forth. But as for the teams themselves, right? And the playing conditions, Edgbaston hosting the second test. It's a wicket that offers pretty much everyone everything. Good bounce, consistent carry because of that. Decent pace, but again, consistent pace, so batsmen can play their shots and get value for it. Good outfield. It's probably going to be seaming at the start, but it's going to assist the spinners at the end. So really a perfect test match wicket is likely.
This is the thing, right? I would have loved to see the World Test Championship final played on a wicket like Edgbaston. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Southampton might do that, honestly.
Southampton might, but I mean, Southampton is Southampton. It's not as cool as going to Edgbaston.
Yeah, you can't get the Brummie crowd behind it, right? Although we're living in COVID times, so it's not going to be that big of a crowd. But no, I think both of these squads and teams have a lot to prove. For New Zealand going into this, right? They almost won the last match, so for them, it's going to be very crucial to win this match and sort of end this series on a high note, because they want to go in with a winning confidence and mentality into that WTC final.
I think they're going to rest a few key players. I don't think they're going to play Wagner and Sally.
Okay.
If they can avoid it.
Okay.
They're going to probably play De Granholm because he needs match practice. But Wagner and Southey are going to be wrapped up in cotton wool until they have to go out in Southampton, because obviously you need your two of your three seamers to get there. They might do that with Jameson as well, but again,
that's an interesting comment, right? I personally think that's actually going to be different, right? I think Jameson is going to play just because I think Jameson is one of those bowlers who gets the more he bowls, the more consistent he is in rhythm. Saw it with the last season's IPL as well. I mean, this previous IPL as well.
Once he gets into rhythm, so he might play. That's the one guy I'd say of that bowling attack. Him and the Grantham are probably going to play,
and probably Boult, because they do want him to get practice.
Yeah, Boult needs match time. I think they might just say screw it and go with 3 spinners, or if they have who's their other seamer. Blanking on his
Henry.
name. Yeah. He
Henry
comes in probably for Saudi.
Yeah. I could see Matt Henry would be an interesting pick. I do think they're gonna stick with the Boult and Saudi combo just because they want both of those to bowl and see in tandem how that's gonna go.
Yeah, but again, my only concern is that Saudi has bowled a lot in this last match, and it's a 4-day turnaround, and this match doesn't really matter. So it's worth resting players. Again, I think they might rest even Mitch Santner, whose finger injury. Just want to make sure that he's all okay. For the finals. So
he could be subbed out with Ajaz Patel, the other spinner on the tour, and if they're playing at Southampton, especially in the WTC final, that pitch we know spins at day 4 and day 5, so they're going to need a proper spinner on there. So I could definitely see Williamson backing for that. In terms of the batting lineups for New Zealand, I think Conway is secured as obviously secured as well.
I think the only thing that might change is that they might give Tom Blundell a run out. But even,
where would you say?
Like if they shorten their lineup, right? If they go with 4, if they go, okay, we'll have Southey, Jameson, the Grantham, and then Ajaz Patel, right? Those are 4 bowlers, and then you just slot him in, and then you just move. That's 6, and then you move BJ Watling down 1.
Up, I mean, or down. Yeah, I could see that. I feel like they're going to stick with the batting lineup because I think the batting.
I mean, the only thing that might change is how they want to handle the bowling, and that'll dictate how they're going to handle the batting.
The batting lineup going in, we can assume Conway at the top with Latham. Then you've got your
Williamson, Roscoe, Nichols, and then BJ.
Yeah, so I think that's going to stay consistent. Now, what's more interesting for me is the England lineup for this predicted lineup, because this was not. God. Yeah, the last match wasn't very good for them, guys. They staved off a defeat. I think the only 2 people who showed that should be secure of their positions in this particular squad are going to be your Burns and Sibley opening pair, right? Because both of them scored crucial runs. So, obviously Burns with that.
And I think Joe Root also deserves I mean, in his case, it wasn't really his fault that he got on the first innings, and then the second innings he batted pretty well. Yeah,
and Joe Root's the captain, and he did show some good form in that second innings to stave off the defeat, right? So I think he's a sure starter as well. I do think they're going to persist with Lawrence and Crawley. I mean, Crawley played. Yeah, and then they're very talented.
Zach Crawley is in their cases, it was brain fades that were the issue, not technical or commitment. It was just them being very stupid and doing a very stupid thing.
Yeah, with
I don't mean that way. I mean, it's like they'd probably say it was a stupid shot to play.
And especially that early in the innings, those airy-fairy drives around 7 stump rate, just not gonna cut it.
They're not
but
smart.
I think,
and especially against a bowler like Southey, why are you bothering?
but somebody like those 2, I think, are gonna get another go, and they should, because they both showed enough talent in different.
Zach Crawley was the only batsman other than Joe Root in India that showed any application.
With that that really quick fire 50 rotation of the strike. Lawrence is obviously well known for his spin playing ability, and that's going to come handy against India later in the year. So I think he's going to get.
Yeah, you have to play him until he gets into form.
Yeah, I think that's the Bracey. I think they are going to.
Bracey's only. Let's be very honest. Bracey's in the squad right now because there isn't another keeper.
Yeah, and the one keeper that was there
got
in
hurt.
England tradition decided to have the most freak accident possible. Folks, we're talking about, guys. But Bracey's probably going to get another go because he debuted, and he didn't have a great match, but they're going to.
He's a wicketkeeper. His job is really just to keep working. If he scores runs, that's a nice plus. But if he can take catches and stumps, who cares?
The bowling attack is where things get interesting as to who they're going to change. Like with New Zealand.
So actually, I didn't want to talk about this because we were discussing this after day 5, and we were saying that Anderson might play again, Broad might play again, Um, I think they may rest him because per Jimmy himself, Jimmy had an interview with Quick Info. He was like, "Yeah, if we bowl like 40 overs in the match, we're probably gonna get rotated out, just for injury prevention.
Yeah.
Rather not have to risk having an injury than missing 6 months. I'd rather miss one match, kind of situation. So Jimmy and Broad might miss out on this next match.
Yeah,
which
Robinson
is going to lead
obviously
to a lot of weird things, including Mark Wood probably going to have to lead that attack, which is going to be amazing because the Blade of Justice is the Blade of Justice.
Yeah, but I am concerned about Wood just because he's made of glass in some ways, right? And I love Mark.
He's a glass cannon, and he's wonderful when it works, and he's terrifyingly inept when it doesn't.
Yeah, and he's had a problem with fitness, although that longer run-up, right, has allowed him to consistently bowl pretty quick and in better spells. And he's being used in shorter spells as well.
Yeah.
More often than he was. So I think he gets in there. Overton's probably going to replace Robinson, so that's... Which
is dumb, but for different
reasons that we're not going to talk about now. I know we have a lot to say. We're definitely going to put that in a separate video. But he's going to replace him. And then, if Jimmy and Brody are out, it's interesting to see who's going to come in place. Because the problem is they don't have the three pacers who are normally their substitutes, right? They don't have Wopes.
Archer. And Stokes.
Stone and Bess actually is probably going to complete the lineup in that case, right?
Or
because
Stone and Leach.
Stone and Leach, but I don't know, man.
Knowing England, they will manage to screw over Jack Leach.
Because they want that all-round
Leachy was they'll send him home, and then like midway through like the second test, and then they'll have an injury crisis.
Yeah, and I think
Leachy wanted to go home. It's like, yes, that is a reference to the Moeen Ali kerfuffle.
Yes,
it's like we
very subtly put
this guy because we believe that Dom Bess was not lucky, but was actually skillful enough to take all of those wickets in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, very subtly put, Ron. But no, I think they are gonna probably shoot in for Best just because the batting lineup was proven to be a bit fragile, and the thinking, I don't agree with this logic, but they are going to probably rationalize it by like, hey, Best scores runs and is nuggety at the bottom of the order. We need an all-rounder to help strengthen our lineup. So here we go with Bessie. But yeah, so I could see him getting slotted in. You could also have a situation both spinners come in and you get Robin and Stone and Overton and Wood, which would be funny.
Do you want Jarud to be crucified by the English media?
I mean, he's already kind of getting crucified by them. So
I mean, he is, but it's like, do you want him to get more crucified?
Yeah. Two things left, really, right? XI, like a fantasy XI, and who do you think is going to win? So
I think it's going to be New Zealand. I'm going to start with that. It's going to be New Zealand. They're going to win this match. They probably should have won the last one. If it wasn't for that heroic innings by Rain Pereira, they would have won it.
I'm actually going to disagree with you. I think England are going to shade this. Everybody's treating them as underdogs, and yes, they've been poor in the previous match. But
it's England, man. It's England. You can never trust them. They are the siren's call of cricket.
Yeah,
they promise you that they will win, and then they will immediately collapse, and then they'll say that we have no chance, and even then they will collapse.
Yeah, no, Joe wrote to score 150. You heard it first. But no, final thoughts in terms of just I guess a fantasy XI that you would put your money on.
So I'll take the bats this time, and you take the bowlers?
Absolutely, man.
Fair. I'm going to start from 6 and work my way forward, because I'm different.
On, man. Just do it with the openers. Don't be out.
Okay, fine. I'll go with the openers. I think you can't look past Latham and Conway. They're the best opening batsmen pairing in Test cricket at the moment. I mean, it's hard to argue with a double century on debut, and Tom Latham was consistently probably the best opener in the world.
Yeah.
Then number 3, Kane Williamson. Makes sense.
So you're backing him to come good here because he averages 26 in England.
I know that, but a lot of that's because he averages 9 against Jimmy.
Fair enough.
It's something insane. It's like 9 or 9. It's below 20 against Jimmy. I think after that, number 4, I'm going to go Jarud.
Okay. Yeah.
Joe Fitty is no longer existent. Jarud is back in town.
Yeah.
After that, I think. Okay, so number 5, it has to be. it has to be Henry Nichols for number 5, and number 6 is BJ Wilding.
Yeah. So you're going very Kiwi with this lineup.
I think the Kiwi batting lineup, honestly, in the world right now, may be the best 1 through 5. Just
Fair enough.
consistently, they're going to deliver lots of runs, and it's hard on Ross Taylor not to make this, but it's like it's Ross Taylor or Joe Root.
Yeah.
It's Joe Root.
No, fair enough. I mean, I do think the young guns for England. I do see Crawley coming good after that poor showing. That would be my main disagreement with you. But I think apart from him, I think you've pretty much got it spotted. Maybe Sibley gets 100. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. On to the bowlers, right? Ooh, this is going to be interesting. I do think the Blade of Justice is going to tire in, so I'm actually going to go with the other quick in the pick, Ollie Stone. I don't know if he's going to slot in at 7, but I think he'll do well. I'm just going to pick
just pick the bowlers. It doesn't matter what their batting order is.
Yeah, because the sides are different. Jameson, I think, is going to have another good match. I do think he's going to play. I think he's in rhythm. He can be a number 7, number 8, whatever. Stone. Part of the problem is you don't know who England's going to go with their spinners. Or New Zealand, right? So it's tough to pick spinners. I do think Boult is going to have a pretty decent match in these conditions as well, so I'll go with him as the lefty in the lineup. And I think this is struggling. Okay, I'll go with 2 picks depending on who plays. I do think that knowing England's luck, they'll pick Dom Bess, and he'll manage to like bungle himself away to wickets because New Zealand historically haven't been the best players to spin. So it's either going to be him.
Henry Nicholls. You can just say Henry Nicholls is not the best player to spin in the world. Off spin in particular.
Yeah.
Find a new way to get himself out this time.
That's true. But I think it's going to be either Dom Bess or Jack Leach, the England spinner who plays. I do think he's going to be like crucial in that Edgbaston pitch, and I do think they're going to struggle against a good quality spinner. I mean, I guess if we have to pick one more, Colin Granholm, I think the conditions are going to be good for him, so he can be all rounder. So I think that completes.
I think on that note,
yep.
I think we're good, and we will see you guys when that match gets underway. Until then, have fun, and we'll see you guys later.